From this moment forward, you people have no right to be here anymore. Get out of this lake immediately. That's what Karen Mulrin yelled across the water, her voice booming like she was the judge and the jury rolled into one, with her little crowd of phone-waving neighbors standing right behind her, grinning like they'd come to watch some kind of public execution. You want a hook? Try being the family that gets served an eviction notice at sunrise on your own land by a woman who thinks running an HOA makes her sheriff of the world. Yeah, that happened. She actually waved that paper like it was a warrant for dangerous criminals, just because my family refused to bow down and sign up for her association. She even called the police, hoping they'd drag us off in front of the whole lake. People lined the shore, filming, waiting for us to be hauled away in disgrace. But here's what Karen didn't know, and this is where things get interesting. My family was the exact wrong people to try and steamroll. 3 years. That's how long we'd lived on our patch of lakefront, flying under everyone's radar. Just another quiet family who'd escaped to the country, or so it seemed. My name's Noah Westfield. I'm 35, tech consultant, work from home, or so everyone thinks. My wife, Maya, runs her own finance business from her office window. Our boy Ethan's 16 and obsessed with computers, cybersecurity, you name it. Zoe, she's 12, STEM club champion. Got a memory that can outpace any Google search. But on paper, we were just the classic, moved here for the peace and quiet crew. The truth? Let me back up a sec. We're in federal witness protection, planted here by the government after we testified against an international crime syndicate. The farm? It's a federally registered safe house. No HOA. No neighborhood cookouts for us. Why? Because our paperwork and our safety come from higher up the food chain than Karen's clipboard. But Karen? At 45, with that steely former real estate boss vibe, she'd shown up determined to rebuild her own reputation by building the most powerful HOA in the county. Every household must join. Every household must pay. And every household, apparently, must kneel to Karen. If you refused, she took it personally. And her sidekick, Marcus Webb, the HOA treasurer, was glued to her hip, shuffling a stack of legal threats like it was Vegas. So when they came to my front porch, Karen all smiles, Marcus clutching his folder, I could see where this was headed. Mr. Westfield, this is your final notice to join our homeowners association. The monthly fee is only $200, and membership includes access to amenities and the protection of property values. Protection, right? She said it like she was offering us mafia insurance. I took the clipboard, skimmed the fine print, handed it back. Appreciate the offer, Mrs. Mulrin, but my family's got special arrangements with local authorities that preclude us from joining any HOA. Maya stepped up beside me, radiating that suburban mom calm, but behind her eyes, she's measuring up threats the way only a former DA, financial investigator can. We appreciate your community spirit, but we'll have to decline. Karen's smile vanished in a heartbeat. Special arrangements? What kind of arrangements? You think you're above the rules. Marcus puffed up, pleased to have his boss on offense. Mrs. Mulrin, I said, using every ounce of calm I'd learned in federal training. Our situation is unique. I couldn't say more, but Ethan, up in his window, was already watching, ready to shift into tactical mode if things got weird. That was the moment Karen's brain locked onto us as a threat. Are you trying to intimidate me with imaginary authority? Nobody gets to opt out, she barked, inching closer, looking for that flinch most people give her. I researched your property records. There's nothing unusual but some weird codes, probably just errors. Little did she know those were federal safe house markers. Maya tried one last time. We're not trying to cause trouble, we just can't join. Karen whipped around to Marcus. Make a note. She promised legal action, told us. You'll see how special you are when I start using every legal tool available. The subtext was clear. She'd drag us through bureaucratic hell until we broke. We closed the door, Maya's look saying it all. She's going to be a problem. Ethan appeared at the top of the stairs. Dad, want me to do some research on this HOA? Zoe, blunt as ever, asked, is that lady going to try to make us move? No one's making us move, honey, Maya promised, but I had that feeling in my gut. Karen's crusade had just begun. Karen didn't wait. By Thursday, she'd hired a lawyer, filed a lawsuit for disruption of neighborhood harmony. Her lawyer, though, took one look at our paperwork, those federal codes, and noped out. Called Karen in a panic, warned her to leave us alone. To Karen, that was proof we'd bribed him. She doubled down, telling neighbors we were running a tax scam. Enter Janet Miller, retired accountant, 3 doors down. She stopped Maya at the store, handed her a folder. I kept receipts from my time as HOA treasurer. There's some funny business in here. She'd caught Marcus skimming thousands from the HOA. $8,000 pool jobs costing $15,000, the difference going to Marcus-controlled accounts. Maya saw it in seconds, classic embezzlement. Karen, meanwhile, filed complaints everywhere. The assessor, county officials, you name it. She even tried to bribe a county planner, David Walsh, offering a campaign donation to investigate us. Walsh reported her, and suddenly Karen was on ethics board radar, without even knowing it. And then came the twist no one expected. One evening, a neighbor's kid went missing in our woods. While other folks ran around with flashlights, our family deployed like a task force. Ethan set up trackers, Zoe mapped the trails, Maya coordinated the search. 8 minutes later, we brought the boy out safe. Suddenly, we weren't troublemakers. We were the family who saved a kid when it counted. The mood in the neighborhood shifted. Janet shared the financial dirt, and HOA members started asking real questions. If the Westfields are so bad, why are they the only ones handling emergencies? Karen was losing the narrative. But she wasn't about to give up. She hired a private investigator to dig into us, not realizing any serious background check would trigger federal alarms. Here's the kicker. Karen tracked down James Patterson, the previous owner of our land. She expected to dig up dirt, but instead heard the story of a man destroyed by an HOA. Forced into foreclosure, wife passed from the stress, lost everything. He sold to the feds so no HOA could hurt another family like his. What Karen never realized, our family had investigated the very HOA network that ruined Patterson. The same corrupt tactics she used had been taught by regional developers laundering money and grabbing distressed properties. Maya, using Janet's files, pieced it together. This wasn't just theft, it was a playbook for property acquisition. Fake invoices, shell companies, forced foreclosures. She met Marcus, recording their chat, and pushed him, "Help us or go down for federal fraud." Marcus cracked, admitting Karen's strategies came straight from higher up. They were intentionally bankrupting the HOA so investment firms could swoop in and buy up the land. All this, and Karen still wasn't done. She called a secret HOA meeting, tried to get the whole room to vote us out. I walked in, dropped my trump card. The federal grant for lake maintenance made me the official oversight officer. Every action on the lake required my sign-off. The room went dead silent. Then, as Maya and Janet laid out years of cooked books, the HOA realized the emergency meeting was a financial audit of Karen. When the sheriff, Dick Morrison, got called in by Karen, he showed up thinking it was a routine squabble. Turned out, he recognized me. 8 years ago, my family's task force had pulled him out of a warehouse, saving his life during a trafficking bust. He understood immediately why we couldn't join the HOA, and why Karen was poking a bear she couldn't handle. The final showdown? Karen called for a peaceful demonstration, invited local media to film our eviction. But the journalist she reached out to? He was actually U.S. Marshal Jake Carter, assigned to watch our backs. As the crowd grew outside our home, I stepped out with my folder, announced that this was federally protected land under constant surveillance. Every word and action logged by the feds. The crowd's vibe changed fast. Karen tried to rally them, but then Morrison stepped forward and asked me to explain. I told everyone, "We're here under federal witness protection, not because we're above the rules, but because we put criminals away so your families could be safe." Maya exposed Karen and Marcus on the spot. $180,000 gone from HOA funds, straight into fake companies. And then came the real twist. Carter flashed his badge and arrested Karen for embezzlement and fraud, right on her own front lawn, in front of the whole neighborhood and every camera. Marcus surrendered, agreeing to testify. Neighbors apologized, finally seeing how close they'd come to losing their homes to a scam run from inside their own HOA. Within weeks, federal prosecutors took over. Karen faced charges in court. The network behind her collapsed. The previous owner, Patterson, called me, voice trembling with gratitude. "You got the justice I never thought would come." Janet became treasurer again, this time with real oversight. Morrison helped set up new community guidelines to prevent future power grabs. But just as we were settling in, my encrypted phone buzzed. Another HOA, another scam, this time in Colorado. Maya grinned. Looks like we're moving again. Ethan and Zoe groaned, but they knew, this is what we do. And that's how a family like ours taught an HOA the limits they should never cross. So let me ask you, ever felt powerless against a bully or a corrupt authority in your own backyard? What would you do if someone tried to strip away your peace, your rights, your home? Because justice isn't just for the well-connected. Sometimes it's about standing your ground, knowing the law, and never backing down, even when it means painting a target on your back. So what battles are you fighting in your community? Drop your story in the comments. And if this tale gave you hope, hit that like, share with a friend, and let's keep the conversation going. After all, justice is a team sport. You know what I mean?